So the real reason behind Hande Erçel and Kerem Bursin's breakup might not be what everyone first assumed. What started as a quiet separation has now turned into one of the most talked about topics in Turkish celebrity news, and a new claim about why they really split has completely shaken social media. Let's unpack what's being said, what's been reported, and why fans are so divided over it. Hande Erçel and Kerem Bursin weren't just any couple. For a lot of viewers, they were the golden pair of Turkish television. Their romance began while filming the hit series Sen Çal Kapımı, a drama that captured huge attention not only in Turkey but internationally as well. On screen, their chemistry was undeniable, and it didn't take long before rumors began spreading that their connection had moved beyond the set. Eventually, those rumors turned into reality when they confirmed that they were indeed together. From that point on, they weren't just co-stars, they became one of the most followed and talked about couples in the entertainment world. Fans absolutely loved them. Every new candid photo, every holiday sighting, every little interaction between Hande Erçel and Kerem Bursin turned into news. They were constantly trending in Turkish celebrity gossip, with people tracking their trips, joint appearances, and even subtle social media likes. For many followers of Sen Çal Kapımı, their real-life relationship felt like an extension of the romance they watched on screen, and that made the couple even more special. They were seen as a power duo, young, successful, beautiful, and at the peak of their careers. But then, almost out of nowhere, came the announcement that nobody wanted to hear. Reports started to circulate that Hande and Kerem had decided to part ways. The breakup wasn't announced through a big emotional joint statement or a dramatic public fight. Instead, it came quietly, through social media. The message was simple: they were no longer together. That alone would have been enough to upset fans, but what really made people realize how serious things were was what happened next online. After the news of the separation, Hande Erçel took a decisive step. She not only deleted the photos of her and Kerem from her social media accounts, she also stopped following him entirely. For celebrity followers, that move is huge. In today's world, unfollowing someone publicly is like a digital full stop. It sends a clear message that things are really over. Fans immediately noticed the change, and within minutes, screenshots, comments, and reactions were all over Twitter, Instagram, and celebrity gossip pages. You could practically watch the heartbreak spread across the fandom in real time. Naturally, the first big question everyone had was why? Why would a couple that seemed so strong, so in sync, and so adored by the public suddenly decide to end things? There were no public arguments, no scandals breaking in the press, no obvious signs of things going wrong. At first, people tried to come up with their own explanations. Some blamed their busy work schedules, others thought maybe the pressure of constant attention had worn them down. A few speculated about personal differences or jealousy, as always happens with celebrity relationships, but nothing concrete came out. It was all just guesswork. Then came the more emotional part of the situation. It was reported that Kerem Bursin didn't actually want things to end. According to claims circulating in the Turkish media, he tried to fix things with Hande after the breakup, but not directly. Instead of reaching out publicly or making a big show of it, he allegedly approached her through their mutual close circle, asking friends to help mend the relationship. That alone suggested that he still had strong feelings and wasn't ready to let go. However, it seems that this attempt at reconciliation didn't go the way he hoped, because, if these reports are to be believed, Hande Erçel had already made up her mind. She reportedly told her friends that it was all over and there was no turning back now. That kind of statement, if accurate, shows a very firm resolve. It suggests that for her, once a line was crossed, it couldn't be uncrossed. And that really added to the shock. How could a relationship that felt so real and emotional to so many fans end so definitively behind the scenes? Just as people were still trying to make sense of all that, another twist exploded on social media. A claim surfaced that completely changed the conversation around the breakup. According to reports shared by Snob magazine and echoed across gossip accounts, Hande Erçel and Kerem Bursin didn't actually want to break up in the first place. The separation, it was alleged, was unintentional. In other words, it wasn't fully their idea. The suggestion was that their managers played a major role in ending the relationship. The claim is that the managers of both Hande and Kerem looked at the situation from a career standpoint and decided that the relationship wasn't in their best professional interests. These are two of the biggest names in Turkish television, with huge fan bases, major endorsement deals, and packed filming schedules. From that perspective, some in the industry might see a high-profile romance as something that could complicate future projects, especially if anything went wrong between them. According to this rumor, the managers believed that continuing the relationship could interfere with the star's long-term career plans, and so they allegedly pushed for it to end. If you follow celebrity news or know how the entertainment world works, this angle might not sound completely far-fetched. In many industries, not just in Turkey, but globally, image management is a massive part of being a public figure. Managers, agents, and PR teams constantly think about how every move will affect a star's brand, who they date, which projects they choose, what they post online. Everything is carefully watched, so the idea that managers might have stepped in and said, "This relationship is not helping your career, it's time to end it," is exactly the kind of behind-the-scenes drama people imagine happening in show business. However, it's very important to remember, none of this has been officially confirmed by Hande Erçel, Kerem Bursin, or their teams. These are claims and allegations circulating in the media and on social platforms. Still, that hasn't stopped fans from reacting strongly. For many supporters, the idea that they broke up unintentionally is even sadder than a regular breakup. It suggests that two people who cared about each other were separated by outside pressure, not personal choice. The thought that they might still have wanted to be together, but felt they couldn't because of career concerns, makes the whole situation feel more tragic. Think about what that would mean emotionally. Imagine being in a relationship that grew naturally, starting on set, turning into real feelings, and then one day having people around you suggest that for the sake of work, it needs to end. On one hand, you have your private life and your emotions. On the other, your future, your professional image, your contracts, and the expectations of millions of fans and industry insiders. If the claim is accurate, Hande and Kerem were caught right in the middle of that tension. And according to this version of events, they ended things not because the love was gone, but because the situation around them became too complicated. The idea that Kerem Bursin tried to reconnect through close friends fits this picture. If he truly believed the relationship shouldn't have ended, reaching out in a quieter, more private way makes sense. Instead of making statements in public or fueling more gossip, speaking through people they both trust would be a way to test the waters and see if there was any chance of going back. But then we come back to Hande's alleged response, that there was no turning back. If she really said that, it shows that by that point, she was emotionally done with the situation, no matter what had led to the breakup. From her perspective, the constant pressure, personal, professional, and public, might have been simply too much. Being in a relationship that the entire country is watching isn't easy. Every expression, every interaction, every move gets picked apart in celebrity news. When the breakup became public, fans weren't just disappointed. Many were angry, confused, and desperate for explanations. Hande Erçel might have decided that the healthiest choice for her was to close that chapter completely, including unfollowing Kerem and removing the shared photos that kept the conversation going online.
There's also the career angle that can't be ignored. Both Hande and Kerem are at crucial points in their professional lives. They are continuously being offered new roles, endorsements, and international opportunities. Managers and PR teams might look at a high-profile relationship and worry about what happens if future projects require them to work with different co-stars, or if a public breakup affects how audiences see them in new roles. In that sense, a manager might argue that keeping their private lives completely separate from their professional image is the safer long-term move. At the same time, many fans are pushing back against this idea. A large number of people following the breakup news feel that managers should not have that much power over someone's personal life if the claims are true. Social media reactions include a lot of frustration towards the idea that love can be sacrificed so easily for work. Others, however, take a more pragmatic view and point out that in show business, personal and professional lines are blurred all the time, and that celebrities often have to make difficult compromises that ordinary people don't face. There's also another layer to this. Sometimes, when a couple is very beloved, it's harder for fans to accept a simple human explanation like, "we grew apart," or "it just didn't work out." Instead, people look for a more dramatic or external reason. So some are wondering if this talk of managers and outside pressure has become a way for fans to cope with the breakup, because in their minds, it feels more acceptable to believe that Hande and Kerem were separated by circumstances and other people, rather than by their own choice. Whether that's the case here or not, only they truly know. What we do know are the visible signs, the unfollowing, the deleted photos, the lack of warm interaction online. These are all actions that usually mean a relationship has genuinely ended, and as much as people might hope for a reunion, and there are definitely many fans still holding on to that hope, right now the situation looks final. Hande's reported words to friends reinforce that feeling of finality. When someone says there's no turning back, it usually means they've processed the breakup and decided it's time to move forward, no matter what comes out in the media afterward. At the end of the day, Hande, Erçel, and Kerem Bursin are not just characters from a drama, they're real people with real emotions, dealing with a very public split under intense scrutiny. The claims about their managers wanting the relationship to end for career reasons have added another layer of intrigue to an already emotional situation. Whether every detail of that rumor is accurate or not, what's clear is that this breakup has touched a nerve with fans and opened up a bigger conversation about how much control celebrities truly have over their own private lives. So now, the big question is, what do you think? Do you believe that the separation was really unintentional and pushed by managers focused on protecting two huge careers? Or do you feel that, like many couples, Hande and Kerem simply reached a point where they couldn't continue, and the rest is just speculation built up by the media and networks hungry for a more dramatic explanation? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think there's any chance they could reconnect in the future? Or is this truly the end of the road for one of the most talked about couples to come out of Sen Çal Kapumi? And how do you feel about the idea of managers influencing such a personal decision? If you follow Turkish celebrity news, gossip, and high-profile breakups and want more updates and analysis like this, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next in the world of Hande Erçel, Kerem Bursin, and other stars whose lives everyone is watching so closely.